I still remember the first time I heard the name Robert Berdella. It was April 2nd, 1988, and Kansas City was buzzing with a story no one could quite believe. A man had jumped from a second-story window, naked, bleeding, and screaming for help. His wrists were bound, his body covered in welts and burns. Neighbors rushed to his side. He was shaking, terrified, muttering the same words over and over. "He's going to kill me." The man pointed to the house he'd escaped from, 4315 Charlotte Street, a quiet home in a quiet neighborhood. The kind of place you'd never suspect hid horrors inside. But when police went in, what they found made even seasoned detectives sick to their stomachs. Robert Berdella wasn't a drifter. He wasn't a shadowy figure hiding in alleys. He was a local businessman, known for running a booth at the flea market. He sold art, antiques, and oddities. To neighbors, he was eccentric, but friendly enough. No one suspected that his home was a prison of nightmares. When investigators entered, the smell hit them first. Damp, rot, something chemical. Then came the Polaroids, hundreds of them, stacked in boxes. They showed men, young men, often homeless or hitchhikers, bound, gagged, their faces twisted in agony. Some photos showed them alive, eyes wide with terror. Others showed their bodies after they were gone. But the photos weren't the worst part. Berdella kept detailed journals. Page after page, he had written notes about what he did to his victims. Dates, times, experiments. He wasn't just killing. He was documenting, controlling, treating human beings as test subjects. The journals described injections, drugs meant to paralyze but not kill. He wanted them awake. He wanted them aware. He used electrical shocks, caustic chemicals, needles pushed deep into flesh. He wrote down their reactions like a scientist recording an experiment. And in those pages, one thing became clear. Berdella wasn't driven by rage. He was driven by curiosity, by the need to control another person completely, body and soul. Over the years, at least 6 men vanished into his house. Charlie, Todd, Jerry, and others. Men living on the margins of society, men no one noticed had gone missing. He lured them in with promises of shelter, food, or money. Once inside, they never left alive. Berdella dismembered them carefully, methodically. He bagged the remains, left them out for trash pickup like common garbage. No graves, no funerals. Just silence. For years, no one noticed. The men disappeared, and life went on. Until that April day, when his last victim broke free. I remember reading his words in those journals. Cold, clinical. He described injecting drain cleaner into someone's throat to destroy their voice. He described drilling into skulls, pouring acid inside, trying to create what he called a servant, a living body without will. Every line revealed a man who saw others not as people, but as objects. And what struck me most was how ordinary he seemed to everyone else. He waved at neighbors, he paid his bills, he ran his business. All the while, inside his house, he was committing some of the darkest crimes in American history. Robert Berdella was eventually sentenced to life in prison without parole. He died behind bars in 1992, but the echoes of his crimes still linger. Because his story isn't just about murder, it's about control, about how evil doesn't always appear as a monster in the dark. Sometimes it lives quietly next door, smiling politely, hiding the screams of its victims behind locked doors and drawn curtains. That was Robert Berdella, the Kansas City butcher. And when I think of him, I don't just think of the victims he killed. I think of the ones who vanished without anyone noticing, the ones no one came looking for. Because in the end, that's what monsters like Berdella count on, that their victims won't be missed. Please support me grow by clicking on the like, share, and subscribe button.